Hi, and welcome to the Sheroes Collective Podcast. I'm your host, Renee Sparks, and today I have the privilege of introducing you to an amazing Shero who is really all about her community. So it is really a privilege. I met this woman in person for the first time in the beginning of 2024. So it's really quite nice to know that within a few months of watching the growth and really the passion that I am talking to you. So that's amazing. Welcome, Mercy Ntokozo Dube. She is an activist and a registered facilitator, as well as a yoga instructor. And I can't wait to get into the details of that. But let's kick off with who this person actually is. She's a dynamic and passionate advocate for social change. And I mean, seriously, how many people haven't I had here? Like, we say these words, but it's actually so powerful, right? She dedicates her efforts to combating gender-based violence and advancing sexual and reproductive health and rights. So really a passion point for me as well. So amazing synergies there. Her work is in the areas, or her work in these areas reflects a deep commitment to creating safer, more equitable communities. She's also a certified yoga instructor with a mission to make wellness services accessible to everyone, particularly focused on reaching underserved populations in townships. And she aims to debunk myths surrounding yoga and wellness while creating inclusive and safe spaces for all. Through her project Harmony and Wellness Initiative, and the collaboration with different stakeholders, she promotes health or mental well-being and resilience among community members. She's a self-published poet, and we're going to hear about that a little bit later, and a dedicated mother. And I thought these words were really profound. She had written in her bio that her journey as a mother has added this profound layer of empathy and strength to her work, driving her to create a better future for future generations. So really amazing work. And then lastly, she has also been involved with Activate Change Drivers, an organization that has supported her growth and development. And her work continues to inspire and empower others, making lasting impact in the community and beyond. I think, you know what? You've just given a bio that like people need to sit and first go, what? Who is this? Welcome, Mercy.
Thank you, Renee, for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh my word. You know, I've been watching your statuses, your WhatsApp statuses around yoga, and even your posts on social media around yoga. And I think it's one of the first things that struck me. Yes, I know you as an activist. We met at a National Health Insurance workshop. So, I mean, I got to see where your passions lie. And I think there's synergies around the GBV and SRHR aspects. But the other thing that stood out for me was this yoga journey you're on, and the fact that you're taking yoga to your community. What has that been like?
Amazing. And I never thought I'd be here because the first time that I wanted to be a yoga teacher, when I felt really connected to yoga, was 4 years ago. And it was also at a feminist engagement. And we had this wellness day, and yoga instructors, Black women, were invited. And I was just like, wow, I wanna do this. And then COVID came, and the organization that was offering the yoga training shut down because they ran out of funds. And I'm thinking, okay, during COVID, everybody's in the survival mode. You all need to survive. So I just like put it at the back of my mind. But deep down, I knew that I wanted to bring this to my community, because when I was doing the practice, there is this sense of peace and harmony that I felt that I've never felt. So I wanted to give that back to my community and to myself as well, as a gift, because now yoga, my mat, is my safe space. It's a space where I just go and allow myself to be me. And 4 years down the line, I got a scholarship from Yoga Life, because it's quite expensive to do the course. So I got a scholarship. It was an amazing journey. I had fellow yogis, trainees holding the space for me, and I was the only Black person in that training. It was kind of uncomfortable to a certain extent because I had a lot of violent communication towards myself, feeling that I'm not good enough. And when I couldn't do certain poses, even when I struggled with my practicals, I was like, you're not good enough. But I had wonderful facilitators that's violent communication. You don't have to sue yourself that way. You can do it. It's a new language. And
Oh my word. I'm glad you're bringing it up in that way because it is very striking. I mean, it is something that our communities need, right? So communities of color, I think the opportunity to actually get to know yourself, to tune into yourself, very often these practices are not really associated or something that our communities know about. I mean, yes, maybe within certain, I suppose, positions or privilege with what comes with that, there'd be exposure. But very often not in the communities that you are talking about servicing, right? Or helping or guiding or providing the service to. It's something that is seen as a luxury. And yet you're speaking about a deep connection to self. It speaks to healing. It speaks to really things that it's not frivolous. It's not something for someone else. So I love the fact that you brought that in.
yes, because for a lot of people in my communities, they're unemployed. And just attending one session, that's money for food. So you need to weigh your pros and cons really well. That go for food that can last me for the whole week or for one session. So making it accessible, it's just my dream. And for people to make it meaningful for them, because I made yoga meaningful for me, make it meaningful for you.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I think I really hope that if there are donors or grant makers that listen to this podcast, that they understand, when we talk about health, it's not just the biomedical and it's not just the counseling aspect of it. But if we talk about holistic wellness, then it's all of these practices. It's looking at indigenous practices. It's looking at yoga. It's looking at Pilates. It's looking at Reiki. There's so many other things that can be done to kind of help this person in a more holistic way. So I think what you've kind of, found yourself in is a really, really great opportunity to not only for yourself, like you said, I love the fact that you said this is a gift for yourself, but actually that you are gifting it to others who might not have been seeing this as something that could help them heal or get them to kind of be more in tune with themselves, given everything that we live in today. I mean, this world is crazy. So fantastic. You look like you want to say something. Hey?
Yeah. On a rush, you are rushing everywhere. We don't have time to focus on ourselves. We are trying to survive. We have got kids. We have got, some people are married, and the only time that they get for themselves, it's probably maybe less than 2 hours in a day to just to sit and relax and be you and allow all the emotions, get in touch with nature, get in touch with yourself, feel the emotions and everything. So
yeah. Yeah, the other thing I saw that you combining is nature to yoga. So I saw that you have hiking as well. So that's really great that you're bringing in these elements. The next thing I wanted to touch on is your advocacy angle, like your journey. What made you decide this is where I'm going? I mean, GBV and SRH, like you spoke about violent now, it's a very violent space to be in. And so it's very easy for us to be drained by that space. I speak about, I follow Women for Change and many, many other organizations that showcase and show the faces of women who have not survived GBV or who are, going through certain things. And eventually it becomes just soul draining. How do you manage to stay in this space? And how did you decide this is your advocacy journey? It's going to be on these two topics.
Okay, so like I mentioned in my bio, that Activate really shaped my journey, because I learned to be an activist through it. I didn't even know what an activist means when I joined the network. I didn't know what was a feminist when I joined the network, but I got to learn more through the people that I was in communication with. And I don't know if I'd say fun enough or sad enough. I think every one of us have got a story of pain, hurts, rejection, and abuse. I don't know. I don't want to call myself a survivor. I don't want to call myself a victim. I just don't have a name for it. But I have had my own share of violence, and I had to plan an exit plan. Even though I didn't know it was an exit plan, I had to run away. And I never got justice, and I kept on encountering, violent people. And to an extent that with the recent one, I needed a protection order, and the police asked me to get the address of my perpetrator. How am I gonna get the address of my perpetrator? Like, I don't know where he's living. So all those experiences shaped me. They brought pain, but also I realized that as much as I didn't have support, I can be the support for other women that are going through that, because I know how it is like not to have support when you're having challenges, when you're facing difficulties. And so during that time, I think when I started really getting into the activism work, that's when really COVID, like 2019, December, really COVID hit. And I found myself convening for Philippi Can, which is a Captain Together initiative. I don't even know how I found myself there, but yeah, it happened. Then we're doing food distribution, and there were also high rate of GBV during that time. And I found myself helping in the psychosocial support of the COVID-19 People's Coalition. I also don't know how I ended up in that group, but I think it was just alignment, because also in this group, I became a co-convener for Basic Needs Working Group and a co-convener of Global South Against Xenophobia, where, all the violence towards non-locals is happening, because it's another element that we do not talk about. And when you talk of non-locals, it's not only people from other countries, because you can be from Johannesburg and they're living in Cape Town, you become a non-local in Cape Town, and there is discrimination, there is all of those things. So that's basically how my journey was like. And we have seen a high rate of teenage pregnancy rising in the country, and also being a mother, a single mother. Though I was old, because I went back to complete my matric at 21 because of the things that are happening, and I dropped out of school. Then life happened. I got another chance. I got pregnant when I was doing grade 11. And now I've got a 12-year-old boy. So the rejection, raising a child alone, you have got pain, you have got resentment. And for you to be able to hold a space as a mother and not take out the frustrations on this beautiful gift that you've been given, it's really a hard task, if I may say, because I had my moments where I'm like, I just want to hit this child, because that is the weakest point that I can take my frustration on. But looking into myself and dealing with my own issues, my own pain, my own anger, I'm now able to give my child the love that he deserves. So it's all these things that I thought of, and I'm like, there are many young women, there are many girls that are in this space. What is it that I can do to assist? It can be one person. It doesn't have to be like one person, and that's enough for me. It can be a small change. It doesn't have to be big. That's enough for me. But I just feel happy. I feel content when I do the work. It fulfills me, and I hardly complain, even when I don't get paid for it.
Oh my word. You're speaking about so many important aspects of the work of many Sheroes. And when I say Sheroes, it's not even only in activism, in what we understand activism to be. I think that the people that I've met on this journey have been activists in their own spaces, even though they don't even see it, right? Because you're doing something that's against the common. It's common for us to be like, oh, we're exhausted hearing about GBV. oh, it's someone else's child that's pregnant, so we find that in the communities we're in, very often there's this detachment from, this is something that's affecting another person, and so it does affect me in a way, or actually understanding that we are all connected. So some way, this is going to affect me. So if I stand up now and I do my little bit now, it would help. So I mean, you spoke about your own pain, and it's something that I've seen like a golden thread through every person that I've spoken to so far. That through pain, they went and they decided to do something amazing with that, to share something, a part of themselves as part of their healing journey. But so I see the same there, and it's beautiful because, I mean, for some people, you can get stuck in that pain, and that pain can become very negative. And like you've rightfully said, you could have gone the other way, right? And then you're affecting another generation negatively. So for anyone who's listening, it's really about that, about sitting back, whether you're doing yoga, whether you're in the community, whether you are taking a hike, whether you're in nature, just finding space to actually start thinking about what it is that you're going through and how you can improve and make that better. Because like you rightfully said, things are not necessarily always in our control, right? So already I picked up, right? So you are looking at your own experiences that has shaped where you are at. You've gone and you found networks and support and places where you could give of yourself. I remember the cans very well. I was part of Goodwood Can. So yeah, I think the cans were one of those places where we kind of had the opportunity to give back during COVID, able to
Yeah.
take away a little bit of someone's pain and also heal through that. So it was an amazing initiative. And I'm glad that that is kind of also where you found yourself. The next thing is you are a self-published poet. Please tell me about the book that you shared earlier with me. Where did this come from? Was it part of your healing journey? And how did you even start undertaking the process of self-publishing?
It's part of my healing journey. I was just expressing my feelings, because by that time I didn't have people to talk to. But I think when I had my child, I kind of lost myself in the process, because 2 years after that, I was diagnosed with depression,
Okay.
and I was on antidepressants for 7 years.
Okay.
So I needed a space to ease the pain, to just have that space where I'm not being judged. So I started writing, and then I realized, oh, okay, maybe I want to share this. So basically, it's my story.
Yeah.
I want to share this with other people. And I looked into publishing, and I realized that, oh, that's a long walk to freedom.
Yeah.
Huh? And I saw other opportunities. I think it was on Facebook where people spoke about self-publishing, and I did a bit of research on that. Then I tried the route, and I self-funded the printing. And this is a book that I published a few years back, actually. And I was part of the Love Out Book Festival,
Yeah.
where I share my poems with the audience in 2017. Yes, and I got the chance to be in the same space with Arthur Williams. I respect that man. So yeah, so it's basically my story, and the book was titled Tears of a Girl Child.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Like, really? I mean, I think it's just amazing how I'm listening to you, and it's like all of these little nuggets, like utilize your pain, pour it out on a page, and it might just take you somewhere else. The other thing, we had a conversation around how your yoga journey started, and the fact that for me, you are so resilient, and resilient not in a, because I know when you say the word resilient, some people take offense. It's like, oh my word, so something had to be in my way for me to, but it's that natural barriers that existed I mean, if you think a woman of color having to access a space like that and getting a scholarship to do so. So what I can see is someone who's determined, I'm going to access these different elements and for a bigger cause, because very often through your bio, it was community. It was a sense of something else bigger out there that I want to contribute to. And I think that very often that is it. So your way of caring for yourself would be going out into nature and sitting on that yoga mat, or not sitting on the yoga mat, but being on the yoga mat, having it as your safe space. Is there, and of course poetry. Is there anything else about Mercy that helps you kind of breathe?
I think also being with people that appreciates me and love me. I think in the recent year, I got to have people who understand me, who understand my inner child and what my inner child wants. And they can easily tell when the inner child is showing up. Whereas other people, I always come across as a grumpy person, an angry person. And when I'm walking in the street, people are like, why are you angry?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm not.
I understand. I understand completely.
I have people in my space who really like understand me and give me that push, and people that I can just to go and say, I'm not okay, I want to vent. There are moments where you don't want anything but you just want to scream, so I can just go and say, hello, this and this happened at work and I want to vent today, nothing more, and allow me that space. And also have been making a jewelry. I'm learning like handmade jewelry, like this earring that I wear, my handbag. So I also get peace in there because I just to sit and just to try to figure out, okay, what is it that I want to make? Then if it doesn't come out the way I want it to come out, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I just have that peaceful moment with myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've been like, I keep on also involving myself with other projects, with other organizations when they invite me. At the moment, I'm also a civic education champion. So I just do anything that brings me joy. And as long as I'm giving back to my community, I think when it comes to community, I do. So yeah.
That's amazing. So as a parting, is there anything, a tip or any insight that you can give the next generation, the next activist, the next person who wants to take on a similar journey? Is there anything that you can give them that could maybe just help them on their journey?
I think it's doing what you love. Yes, we are living in a world where we need money and resources to survive, but doing what you love the most will shape you to the destination, or will shape your journey to be where you want to be. And not everything is about money. As much as money is important, but not everything is about money, because there are some things that money can't buy. The joy you find in helping other people, the joy that you find in listening to other people. And also, as much as we have limited resources, if one door closes, you keep on trying, because I remember sending emails to different organizations when I was looking for a scholarship, when I needed a scholarship, and no, we don't offer one, until the yoga studio, Yoga Life, where I did my yoga training, popped up on the internet. I sent an email and they didn't respond. And I followed up.
Yeah.
Like, I sent you an email, I'm following up on the email until we got to that point where we had a conversation. So also taking a step back, when things are not working out, just take a step back, observe. If there are other ways that you can try, then you try other means until you get to a point where things start coming together. It might not come together to be like you have it 100%,
Yeah.
but 1%, I think for me is enough.
I hear you. I can see you are someone who just You know, you put your finger in, you put your hand up, you like, I want to be part of this. And I'm saying it because yes, we spoke about your publishing and your poems. We spoke about your yoga. We spoke about the hiking. So you've got hiking and yoga combined. And then there's nails, then there's perfume, then there are so many facets to you. It's like, yeah, see all of this. So yeah, we see all of you. We see all of you, and we can see that you are, the one thing might be just funding the next thing, and we understand that. So the huge thank you to Yoga Life that has given you the opportunity to do what you are doing. It's incredible. And then
Yeah, and even with funding, it's difficult to get funding now, because what I've realized, what I've noticed within the big organizations is, within community-based organizations that get funding. It's the big organizations that get funding, but it's kind of like it doesn't filter to
yeah,
the people that are doing the work
yeah,
on the ground. So we also need to come with initiatives that we can fund our own project. I think that is that when you mentioned nails and perfumes, that's what came into my mind, that for the work that I do, I might not get money, but maybe let's start something small and see how it goes. So if I can have my small business running and make profit out of it, then I can also reinvest back into my community, because you can wait for years and the funding will never come. You need to start somewhere, then the funding will find you
yeah. No, that's very
in the
true.
work.
Very true.
So that's how it is, because, and also the power of collaboration. I think as people, sometimes we wanna have everything for ourselves. As one person, you can never do anything alone. You need people. So you find like I'm offering yoga now, but there are other people who would love to do basketball. Why is it difficult for me to go and collaborate with somebody that is doing basketball, so we can give a best of both to,
Exactly.
to our communities? Why am I saying that? With the space that I'm using for yoga, we will be launching like the Harmony and Wellness Initiative. It's Equity Center. There are a whole lot of sports there that are happening under the municipality facility management committee. You have your dance, you have your table tennis, you've got your aerobics, you have got your karate, you've got your boxing, and these are the things that brings the community together. It's not about you, it's about the community, it's about the people. So don't make it about yourself. That's what I learned. It's not about you, it's about kids.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Thank you for bringing the collaboration in, but also the reality of grants. We all know that there are huge organizations that do get millions, if not billions, and you are right, it doesn't filter through to the same, amounts, or to an amount that can be life-changing in a community. So we do need to think about our own sustainability. We do need to think about those initiatives and those collaborations that can be true and that can actually pull us through to the next thing. And you're right, it's about creating the visibility, and that's exactly where Sheroes came in, because it was me working for big organizations, meeting CBOs, FBOs, seeing that they were the ones doing the work, but they were never really the ones shining. Because when the program's doing well, it's the bigger organization. It's not necessarily, oh my word, this little organization in Kailicha is actually the star, or this group of, so it's important that we also find ways to showcase each other's work and to find platforms to amplify that. So I think that's incredible. The collaboration thing, I'm 100% with you on that. And I think that's the way we're going to go forward. Definitely funding pools are getting smaller. We're going to have to be creative. And that's what we are. So we need to tap into that. There was one thing I wanted to ask you, just for the name of the book that you said it was Tears of
A girl child.
a girl child. So Tears of a Girl Child, it's available through you. So that information we will put at the end of the session as well, so that people can support you and get hold of the book. It would be fantastic if groups of people that we know and don't know yet could read this book and maybe share some ideas on social media and give some feedback. It would be amazing. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Mercy. It has been wonderful speaking to you, and I'm really so privileged to have seen other layers of you other than what I thought I knew. So thank you for that.
And thank you for the amazing work that you're doing. Talking to all these women, I went, I checked your podcast and I'm like, ooh, these women are doing great work. I'm seeing all the directors, all the founders.
And you're right up
So,
there with them. I mean, hello. You need to step
and
into your light. You are one too.
I'm like, we normally get the chance to celebrate one another as women. So I'm glad of the work that you do celebrating other women, because each time when you go even on the social media, it's like an enemy of a woman is another woman. So you're doing amazing work, and thank you for that. Thank you for inviting me.
It's an absolute pleasure. And to those who are going to be watching this session, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.
To get a hold of Mercy, you can do so by emailing info@healingandwellness.co.za or alternatively via WhatsApp on 072-599-7688. And that would be to access the Magical Sense, nail tech services, hiking, yoga, or even to purchase her book called Tears of the Girl Child.